If you ask your mom to sign you up for figure skating lessons. If you ask your mom to sign you up for figure skating lessons, then she will ask you if this is something you really want to do. If you really want to take lessons, then you will say yes please with a cherry on top. If you say yes please with a cherry on top, you will get distracted thinking about ice cream and almost not hear her say that she will call the instructor in the morning. If she calls the instructor in the morning, then the instructor will give her a list of things that you will need to have to bring to your first lesson. If she gives your mom this list, then your mom will say that you need to help pay for some of the items. If your mom says you need to help pay for the items, then you will offer to do chores around the house. If you offer to do chores around the house, then you will have less time to play video games. If you have less time to play video games, then your dad will stop yelling at you for playing too much video games. If your dad can stop yelling at you for playing video games, then he may chip in some money to help pay for your lessons. If this continues for 2 weeks, then you will have enough money to buy all of the supplies on the list. If you can get all the supplies on the list, then you can start your lesson the following week. If you can start your lesson on time, then you won't be able to go to your friend's house after school on Tuesdays. If you can't go to your friend's house on Tuesday, then you won't be able to copy her homework. If you can't copy your friend's homework, then you will have to do it yourself. If you have to do your homework yourself, then you might actually learn the material. If you learn the material, then you will be better grades on your tests. If you get better grades on your tests, then your average grade will also increase. If your average grade in class increases, then you will get honor roll. If you get honor roll, then you will have more positive views about school. If you have more positive views about school, then you will come to school every day and join clubs. If you come to school every day and join clubs, then your counselor will call you to their office. If the counselor calls you to their office, then they will say that If the counselor calls you to their office, then they will say they spoke to some college administrators about you. If they say they spoke to some college administrators about you, then the college will see your improvement. If the college administrators saw your improvement, then you are going to college. If you ask your mom to sign you up for figure skating lessons, then you are going to college.
The boy who goes to play. If you take a child to the park, then he will start playing. If he starts playing, then he will get dirty. If he gets dirty, then he will want to go home. When he goes home, he will want to take a bath. When he takes a bath, then he will need a towel. When he gets a towel, then he would need his clothes. After he gets dressed, he will want food. If you give him a sandwich, then he wants chips. If you give him chips, then he will want water. If you give him water, then he will want a napkin. When you give him a napkin, he will go to bed. If he goes to bed, he will get tired. When he gets tired, he will want to hear a bedtime story. If he hears a bedtime story, then he will want to sleep. If he goes to sleep, then you can put a blanket over him. When you put a blanket over him, you can leave. Once you leave, you can have dinner.
This is If You Give Heather Time by Heather Cook. If you give Heather extra time on Sunday, then she will procrastinate. If Heather procrastinates, then she will read fan fiction. If Heather reads fan fiction, then she will think of video games. If Heather thinks of video games, then she will watch Let's Plays on YouTube. If Heather watches Let's Plays on YouTube, then she will get hungry. If Heather gets hungry, then she will also get thirsty. If Heather gets thirsty, then she will ask her mom for money to get food and a drink. If Heather asks her mom for money to get food and a drink, then her mom will get annoyed. If Heather's mom gets annoyed, then Heather will use the foot in the door phenomenon to get as much money from her as possible. If Heather uses the foot in the door phenomenon to get as much money from her mom as possible, then her mom will give her $15. If Heather's mom gives her $15, then Heather will get food. If Heather gets food, then she will eat it while watching Netflix. If Heather eats her food while watching Netflix, then she will binge watch Shameless and Charmed. If Heather binge watches Shameless and Charmed, then she will stay up past 4 a.m. on a Sunday. If Heather stays up past 4 a.m., then she will wake up late for school on Monday. So, if you give Heather extra time on Sunday, she will wake up late for school on Monday.